Hello there, my name is Perita Harjo, and this is my videography. We are going to talk about Glodok, negotiating multiculturalism in different decades. I hope you enjoy, and let's get into the video. Through the many centuries that Jakarta has existed, a Chinese diaspora has lived and experienced negotiating their identities, shaping not only how they live, but how they interact with others. As stated by Freta and Kemas 2021, Glodok, or Chinatown, plays a significant role to the development of its city. This importance was noticed by the Dutch government at that time, and they placed the Chinese diaspora in their own separate category, called the Vermede Oosterlingen. Of course, the portrayal of Chinese Indonesians today relies on oversimplified stereotypes. Identified by SR and China in 2020, three major stereotypes of Chinese Indonesians faced: interested in only making profits, unwilling to mix, and lack of nationality. Though, when we ask the reason behind these stereotypes, they are neither absolute nor the truth, only partial truths that came by because of historic trauma. Here, one region in northern Jakarta has experienced three distinct kinds of multiculturalism: a salad bowl, melting pot, and third space. This is Jakarta's oldest Chinatown, Glodok. Let's begin this journey with the genesis of Glodok. As told by Livia et al. 2024, Chinese traders have established themselves in the region as far back as the 14th century. These early settlers were given different and exclusive rights, living inside the borders of the walled city. However, ethnic and economic tensions under Dutch colonial rule exploded in October 9th of 1740, where the colonizers began ethnically cleansing Chinese ethnicities inside the walled city. The aftermath of this is discussed by Freda and Kemas 2021, forced the survivors into a region outside of the city borders. Glodok became a designated place for Chinese diasporas living in Indonesia. Glodok, in this term, can be classified as a classic case of multiculturalism as a salad bowl. This is the case because, although they live in the same general area, they are still different from the other areas, notably Batavia. The location of Glodok is also strategically put by the Dutch, serving as a quote-unquote border between the walled city and the outside. Not only as a border, but also as a ritual middle ground, where native Indonesians, Chinese diaspora, and Dutch colonialists can interact and negotiate their identity. Culturally, Glodok district is distinct with traditional Chinese architecture and a unique style of housing, combining both the function of a store and a house. This combination is called the ruko. Whilst also practicing their culture in their day-to-day life, this diaspora is the second generation of immigrants, which have already interacted and negotiated with their identity, but still labeled as a foreign Oriental. In the 18th century, Glodok, like Batavia, transformed from the borders it served to the walled city to a commercial district. The chains does not only stop there, but their livelihood is going to drastically change in the coming years. A new era for the Chinese diaspora living in Glodok, or some might say, a new order. In 1966, Glodok was shaken up with the rise of President Suharto's New Order regime. As discussed by Chang 2006, Chineseness is a detrimental problem to the solidarity of the nation. This problem, in return, under the banner of maintaining order and stability, Chinese Indonesians are forced to assimilate in order to create a quote-unquote national identity. The suppression and restriction of Chinese identity by releasing policies and decrees, as talked by Wasino et al. 2019. The first one, pressuring to change their surname to become more Indonesian sounding. The second one, barring all practices of religion and other Chinese symbols. In return, the pressure builds up like a pressure cooker. This pressure was felt by those who live in Glodok, not only by the government, but racially. Their own identity was suppressed in a way that even showing their Chineseness was considered a problem big enough that the government releases policies and decrees to address the so-called Chinese problem. Culturally, they are suppressed from even expressing their own religion, suggesting that they do it inside their house, making the next generation less familiar of the history and roots. The building pressure finally exploded in the 1998 riots. Areas such as Glodok was targeted, looted, and burned. Chinese diaspora was faced with only two options: end their generation in a fire, or lose their culture, either assimilating or leaving the country. Some, fortunate enough to survive the riots, deeply suppressed their culture as a response to their trauma. Many Chinese Indonesians still feel the resonance of the tragedy that happened decades ago. An explosion due to the massive pressure of trying to melt away their culture and identity, leading to massive trauma that they can still feel until this day. Today, after Reformation, Glodok is no longer suppressed and restricted by government policies. Instead, residents negotiate and deconstruct their identity, transforming it into Omni Baba's term as a third space. Indicated by Valerie et al. 2023, they negotiate their identity by embracing the legacy that has been passed down from generations. Notably, in their houses, language, and cooking. But this negotiated identity is more downplayed, as argued by Asnaran in 2022. This quote-unquote passable identity incorporates and reproduces to perform this negotiation, which resulted in the creation of a new space, both incorporating Chinese and other cultures in their day-to-day life. This negotiation is not as easy as handling in a traditional method. Still, their identity has to be downplayed because of racial scars running deep. One case of race being seen as an issue is the 2016 Ahok blasphemy case. This issue does not only affect interaction between Chinese Indonesians and Indonesians, but within the community also. While older generations fully embrace Chineseness, newer generations often reject this culture and embrace a more neutral approach. This difference in negotiating their identity can be looked in the Chandranaya building, a traditional Chinese house surrounded by a rising skyscraper. After learning the history behind Glodok, we can see a pattern of negotiating its identity. Historically, Glodok existed because of ethical cleansing done inside the walls of Batavia, moving out and creating their own separate community with distinct expression of their race, culture, and diaspora. But as time goes and a new leader comes into power, another drastic change happened: forceful assimilation. This pressure finally blew up, and a major riot that targeted Chinese Indonesians left many to either leave or integrate and repress their identity. But after another major reformation, slowly, residents left in Glodok started to negotiate, although still downplaying it and leaving a noticeable horizontal conflict between embracement and abandonment. To end this video essay, Glodok's history has taught us that culture is not static and is always changing. So, let us look outward to the northern coast of Jakarta. In a reclaimed piece of land, a new cultural enclave began to take shape. As we learn from Glodok, we must look past the stereotype and release the pressure, while also asking ourselves, is history going to repeat itself again? Thank you for watching.